Hello and welcome to World Talks here on TVP World. I'm your host Benjamin Lee, and please join me and my guests on this next interview. Poland is embarking on one of the most ambitious rail infrastructure programs in its history, with plans to build thousands of kilometers of new rail lines, expand high-speed connections, and modernize the existing network by 2050. The government says it will transform both passenger travel and freight logistics. Joining us today on TVP World to discuss what this means for Poland's transport sector is Artur Kalisiak, Head of Strategic Projects at Transport i Logistyka Polska. With extensive expertise in logistics strategy and infrastructure development, he brings us industry's perspective on the opportunities and the challenges ahead. Hello and welcome to TVP World.
Hello, good afternoon.
So do you think, can you help us understand, does the integrated railway network present a genuine turning point for Poland logistics sector, or is it mostly an acceleration of the project that's kind of already in the pipeline?
Well, I would say both, to be honest, because from our perspective, and I mean transport and logistics sector, it is important and it is crucial, the best way possible infrastructure in our country. Take a look, for example, our road network that has been developed over 20 years enormously. And imagine that I speak to our colleagues, our friends from other countries like, I don't know, Romania, Bulgaria, and they say that we really envy you as Poland. I mean, in a positive way, that you have managed to build such a nice and very important road infrastructure. So that is why when it could be connected to a railway, that would be even better, because we need to take into account two perspectives, as you mentioned, not only passenger transport, but also freight transport. So when it comes to the passenger transport, it is obvious that people would like and would love to travel in a safe, on-time trains, even especially long distance trains, even though when it comes to crossing borders, still there will be some delays, of course, at the borders where we need to change train drivers and so on. But hearing that, you mentioned it correctly. The plan is very ambitious. We would love to see it in the coming years, that it is going to happen, of course, because on the other side, we have freight connections and freight transport as well. And here you can hear sometimes some voices that road transport sector is some kind of danger to a railway network and railway transport. And this would not be the truth, to be honest, because on a railway there is completely different type of goods being transported than when it comes to roads. So I can tell you even more. The road and railway transport can very easily and nicely work together. Imagine that there are Polish road transport companies investing already, and they have been doing that for many years now. They invest their own money into railway terminals in order to make shorter the road part of the journey, then to transfer the goods or the whole trailer, for example, from road to train, then move it by train on a longer distance, and then to take it back again by another truck, usually in another country. That is so-called the multimodal transport, when you connect road and railway, in this case, of course. So that would mean not only, let's say, the more profitable opportunities when it comes to the usage of trucks, but this also goes with all goals connected to the environmental safety, because if we can move the goods from road to trains, that is even better, of course. This is also an important factor when you take into account, for example, the driver shortage that has been a problem for many years now, not only in Poland, but in most of the European countries.
So instead of considering a rail and road to be something in competition, we actually should consider it and look at it in a more complementary type of way, like you mentioned. Now, my question would be, what do you think are right now the biggest bottlenecks for rail freight? Is it the ports, is it the border crossings? Are we talking about international terminals? Because you mentioned earlier that there might still be some delay when crossing borders are taken into consideration. What are some of the things that needs to be ironed out when this thing fully launches?
Well, from the road transport company's perspective, it's unfortunately very easy. The biggest bottleneck, I would say, is a red tape. Imagine that if a road transport company invests their own money in building railway terminals in order to move the goods from trucks to trains, they can build it, they can prepare it, and then they can wait for even several years, 2, sometimes up to 3 years, in order to receive all the licenses, all the permits for the ready terminal to be used. So this is something that our government and our administration could work on. That would mean improving and speeding up the whole process of implementation this into real life, especially from the business perspective. And of course, unfortunately, crossing the borders would still mean that even though we are in the EU, with trucks, we do not need, of course, change drivers. But as far as rail freight is concerned and railway transport, we still do need to change train drivers at every border. So that is also, of course, a delay in the whole transportation process. But what is also very important, that nowadays the speed of freight transport is insufficient. So big investment, we can assume, would mean also speeding up the process and giving a better and higher speed of a rail freight transport, because nowadays it is really, really slow, unfortunately.
Right, and on that topic, this investment is going to be quite substantial, and it requires, runs into hundreds of billions of Polish zlotys. What do you think poses the greatest risk for delivery? Do you think that financing or political continuity, construction capacity, or shortage of skilled workers will be something that might kind of become a hurdle?
Well, I think usually there is a lot of factors that we need to take into account. Most of them, I would say, are on a political side, which we do not have an influence as a business, of course. I wouldn't be that worried about the workers, because we can see still how greatly our road infrastructure is being improved, and there are workers there. Of course, every now and then you can hear some issues about some delays, but in general, the road infrastructure is growing and is going only better and better. So I would only can say that, again, a combination, a mix of all political decision on a higher level, but also on a lower regional level, is very important. And what is also important from our perspective, trying to diminish the red tape, the whole bureaucracy behind all the processes. If the prime minister and the minister says that we have money already for that, so we can only hope that the money is there and all the investments should start as soon as possible.
Right, definitely. And we're looking at this, again, very ambitious project that is very impressive indeed. It'll go down to the coordination between the national, local government to turn that into a reality. In the meantime, thank you so much for your input and insight. Really appreciate it. And thanks for being with us on TVP World.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers. And thank you for tuning into this edition of World Talks. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.